Hello everyone. I'm not gonna waste your time. You've read the title and you've seen the thumbnail. Online art communities suck. At least most of them. And before you crack your knuckles and write a comment about how your specific community does in fact not suck, please hear me out. If you're still just as convinced after that, then I'm happy to hear your thoughts. Now let us start with a statement that will make a lot of artists probably quite angry. That statement being, the vast majority of artists within these online communities, even if they are specifically made for improvement, are actually inhibiting growth in other artists. Some people, probably quite a few, do it knowingly. And the majority, they don't even know that they're doing what they're doing. The thing I'm talking about is compliments. Nice messages about things like style, the message that it has, or the one specific thing that turned out well in an otherwise hideous drawing of some random internet artist. And I know, wording it like that sounds quite mean, but hear me out for a second. In online art communities, there is an economy of validation. We can all agree that the average skill level of your internet deviant artist is not very high. It's certainly not the worst, but let's be honest, it's not great either. I've been lurking around the past few months in various online art communities, from big to small. All of these communities advertised that you will be able to improve, get feedback, and maybe even make some art friends. But since 2018, we know that reality is often disappointing, because the vast majority of what I found within these communities is exactly the economy of artist validation. A cesspool of toxic positivity towards other artists, no matter their skill level. And I'm not holding anyone accountable for it, because some communities will straight up ban you if you're just a little critical of anyone's drawing, even if they are posted in the critique my drawing section. But what is this economy of validation that I mentioned? It's very simple. People trade compliments, reassurance, support, and engagement instead of honest critique, which in itself is not a bad thing. But if it's overdone, it quickly becomes a humongous inhibitor for growth. One part of it is because people just want to be nice and don't want to bash the beginner artist that just started drawing 2 days ago. But the other part, which is a lot larger than that, is that critique is socially expensive. And to better understand this social cost, we also need to understand that there are two boxes that basically every artist can be put in. One box is for self-critical, out of their comfort zone, constantly growing artists. The other box is for those that seek feedback in form of compliments, engagement, and how they'll improve by just doing what they're doing over and over again. Knowing that, if you are an artist that goes into the first box and you talk to someone that's also in the same place, you can bash the other guy's art skill non-stop and he will thank you for it. But if that is an artist that sits in the second box, you will get a butthurt artist that will not take your advice and probably block you after your second message. And if you're seeing this kind of scenario play out, who do you think the bad guy is in the eyes of the majority? And let me tell you, if you are on the bad side of a specific art community, or the art community in general, there's no turning back. We've seen something like that play out on the internet many times. An artist, beloved by everyone, does one thing that upsets some other artist. A consensus is made, and the artist that lost to the consensus is shunned forever. And to not risk being basically defamed of the artist community, people have just adapted to this toxic positivity mindset, where every art piece is beautiful in its own way, where the point of a critiquing channel or an art improvement community is not to share critique and to improve, but to share compliments, hype each other up, and trade long-term growth for temporary satisfaction. And with that, I think I can conclude my first point. I'd be happy if you share your thoughts. But let's not waste any time and go straight into the second point of why it's gotten basically impossible to improve on online art community servers. The hidden selfishness of all artists. And on this point, I'm not excluding anyone. I mean the selfishness of every single artist out there. The internet is a battlefield. Likes, subscribers, and engagement is the most valuable resource. And between us artists, our drawings are the way that we fight our battles. They are our ammunition. We carefully prepare them and then commence shooting them into the void of algorithms, search engines, and content filters. We do this in an all-out war where millions of artistic bullets are fired every day, praying that ours will make a difference. And while some people are desperately trying to survive with their little squirt guns, others can bomb the fields from a plane above. In other words, it is an unfair battle. And because of that unfairness, the selfishness of every artist will eventually kick in. Accepting a role in the industry, even though you know that you're not the guy. Taking a commission where you would know an artist better suited for it. That magnitude scales all the way down until we arrive at somebody posting a nice comment about a otherwise hideous drawing. Just because that's the social thing to do, and it also perfectly aligns with your selfishness. It's truly a double win situation. And of course, not every artist is like that. But if you think that the majority of artists will hold together and help each other out, even if it meant that they would have worse chances at, let's say, getting a commission, you are dead wrong. And since in the last couple of months, my schedule wasn't completely filled with lurking around and trying to critique some beginner drawings in community servers, I was also on a few servers that would hire professionals, amateurs, or everything in between. The best place to verify what was already quite obvious were communities where you could individually see comments and posts being upvoted or liked. Likes and dislikes in that manner are perfectly translatable into rooting for others in order to get that job or maybe be commissioned instead of yourself. And to no surprise, I have never seen a single comment or post being liked, upvoted, or somehow made visible by another user other than its poster. Which just confirms it even more that the inherent selfishness of artists will in one way or another make itself known. And with all of these bad things about the communities and artists in general out of the way, I want you to understand that both of these points are inherently human. Nobody is safe from them, not me and not you. And that's not everything, because both of these very human things are actually needed within the community. Imagine you could never have a compliment about your art. Imagine you could never be selfish and take a job that you would want. If that was the case, there wouldn't be any artists left in a few years of time. Getting praise and being positive, building a strong community is absolutely necessary and can help growth. But the way it is treated at the moment, with compliments and praise being handed out like a currency and many artists intentionally gatekeeping valuable advice and instead just giving hollow praise towards someone that actually wants to improve, either out of fear from the art community in itself or out of pure selfishness, has made it nigh impossible for a beginning artist that just wants to improve and use online resources such as communities and feedback within those to meaningfully grow like they could if that was not the case. Now, I know this is a spicy topic, especially since artists tend to be on the more emotional side. Both of these issues have obviously been simplified quite a bit, as well as the two boxes that I just put all of us artists in order to make this video not a 3-hour-long TED Talk. As it is with everything, there are exceptions and there are nuances to all of it. But in general, I would really like to have your thoughts. Do you consider yourself inherently selfish? Or maybe the exact opposite? Have you seen these exact problems, maybe in your community server? Let me know, and maybe I'll make a video next year or so. As always, happy drawing and have a good time.